Okay, hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Kotaiba and TLC team, for the opportunity to spend some time with you. As Kotaiba mentioned, my name is Amir. I have been a volunteer with Launchpad Collective for about, I think, 2 years now. My day job is I'm a researcher and a lecturer currently working at the University of Liverpool. And in the last almost 10 years, I have been working specifically with people from refugee and asylum seeking background in supporting them to have access to higher education, vocational training, and employment opportunities as well. Today and in the next probably between 30 to 40 minutes, I am going to share with you some general information that you may need in planning your journey back to university, back to work, and back to the kind of professions and trainings that you're interested in. And at the end, there will be time for everyone to ask their own questions if they have any. And I try to help as much as I can. I appreciate that everyone here, you have their own journey, which could be different with other people in the room this evening. So I try to not go very much into the detail, but just share some information that could be useful for everyone. I'll take you through an overview of the higher education system in the UK. Also, briefly introducing the alternative options that you have if you are not interested in going to university, or if university is not your main choice at the moment, what other vocational training and further education opportunities you have here, what kind of support and resources are available in different areas of the country and by different organizations, and then giving some advice in terms of how to plan your journey and then how to keep yourself motivated and on track. Based on the audience, the information that I'm going to share with you this evening is specifically focused on people with specific immigration status, being refugee or people who are still within their asylum process and waiting for their asylum claims to be processed. So I'm going to focus on those type of immigration status. Well, basically, first of all, most of the time, the first question many students keep asking is, can I study or can I go to university being a refugee or asylum seeker? The question is, yes, that immigration status does not prevent you from applying to universities and from going to universities, being a refugee or being an asylum seeker. As you can see, this is the latest data that I could find from UCAS. In the previous academic year, 2023-2024, we had over 11,000 individuals, refugees and asylum seekers applied for university here in the UK. And interestingly, more than 50% of them, they got accepted. So over 7,000 individuals got accepted to universities, over 3,000 of them refugees, and 440, like out of 830, 440, like more than 50% of people with asylum situation also got accepted. We had 5,000 other kind of similar status, like Afghan relocation, Ukrainians, Hong Kongese, humanitarian protection. And out of those 5,000 individuals, or more than 3,000 got accepted by universities here in the UK. So that's the first thing to have in mind. Because of your immigration status, it doesn't mean that you cannot go to university. It could be difficult, it could be slightly tricky, but as you can see, more than 50% of people who applied, they got offers from universities in the previous academic year. The second question that I've been asked quite frequently by students from refugee and asylum seeking background is about the qualifications. So what kind of qualifications do we need to go to university? Do we need UK qualification? Do we need to go to university? Do we need to go to high school, to college, having GCSEs, A levels from UK? Or can we use our qualifications from our own countries to apply for university higher for undergraduate or for postgraduate? Again, as you can see on the graph, this is again from 2023-24, and the top two lines, the first one is for refugee and humanitarian protection students, and the second one is for asylum seeking students, and the bottom one, the last one, is for home students. And as you can see, home students, most of them, they use GCSE A levels to go to university. Whereas for asylum seeker and refugee students, most of them, they use the purple category, which is for other qualifications, which are qualifications they had from their own countries. High school diplomas, college qualifications, university undergraduate, university postgraduate, which they used in order to apply to higher education. And the main point that I shared this slide with you is for you to appreciate the value of any kind of qualification that you have from your country of origin. If you have high school diploma from Afghanistan or Somalia or Sudan or anywhere else, that's a valuable piece of evidence and qualification to have. That may not be at the same level as a UK high school GCSE, which I'll get to that later because of the language, but it has a value when you apply for university, for college, for higher education, undergrad and postgrad. So again, this is just to show you the evidence that most refugee and asylum seeking students here in the UK, they use their own qualification from their own country of origin to apply, and many of them, they have been successful in entering higher education. However, some of them, they had to top that qualification up with a UK qualification to get the entry. So some of them, they've gone through access courses. I explain what are access courses in the next few slides. Some they did A levels and some they did BTEC. And I'll be explaining briefly about what are those, how they are different, and how you can decide which one is the best one for you. But basically, as I refer to this, it's a journey. So when you come to a new country, even if you're not asylum seeker or refugee, even if you're here for a study or if you just here for family reasons, going back to the stage of life that you used to have in your own country, it's always like a journey. It takes time and you need to go through some steps. And to plan this journey, you need to, first of all, to know where you are at the moment. And this is an education journey. So you need to understand what is your current situation in terms of qualifications, language, financial, and immigration considerations. Also, you need to decide and have good information about where are you going. So what's your purpose? What options do you have? And then knowing those two kind of points, then you can plan saying that, okay, I'm here today. I would like to be in this particular stage of life in the next year and next 2 years. That's what enables you to start planning. Without that, it's not possible to plan because you don't know where you are, you don't know where you want to go. And most importantly, it's not easy for others to help you. I'll get to this later. There are many organizations, there are most universities in the UK, they have some kind of support available for people with this particular immigration background. But the point is, if you don't know where you are, if you don't know where you want to be, it's not easy for them to support you as they want, as they can. So I'm going to share some information with you in the next few slides about how to realize where you are, how to decide where you want to be, and then trying to see how will you get there and how you can plan and what kind of opportunities you have in order to get where you want to be in your future career or in future education. First of all, because we are talking about education, it's very important to have a good understanding and overview of the education system here in the UK. So what you can see on this image, it shows you an outline of the education system in the UK, which is a level-based system. So this image, it shows post primary. So we have level 1 and level 2, and these are the end of high school diploma. Similar to many other countries, you have high school diploma. So that's same level as level 1 and level 2. Some of you may you should have like ESOL courses or functional skill courses in the past, doing level 1 ESOL, level 2 ESOL, level 1 functional skills in ICT. So all of them are in that level 1 and level 2. Then we have level 3, which is mainly about college courses. So some of you may have courses in the past like doing accounting and finance level 3, or hairdressing level 3, or any other kind of level 3 in college. And then from level 4, it starts undergraduate university up to level 6. So between level 4 and 6, we have university undergraduate. When you have your undergraduate level 6, you can go to level 7, which is master's, postgraduate, and then the highest or the level at the top is PhD or doctorate. So it's important to understand this level system, because the main rule or the general rule is, if you want to apply for any level, you need to have a qualification from the previous level. Okay, so if you want to apply for level 3, you should have already a level 2. If you apply for level 4, you should have a level 3. So that's one thing to have in mind. The second one is, in each level, you have different options, as you can see. So level 2 is not just about GCSEs. You have BTECs, you have apprenticeship, you have functional skills as well. So it's not like for going from level 2 to level 3, you should have, and the only option is GCSE. No, there are other options that you can take in order to go to the next level. Or when it comes to level 3, A levels are not the only options. You have other options, and I'll get to them later. Access courses, foundation year, BTECs, and so on. So these are two main points that I would like you to take away from this particular image. We have a level-based system. Moving from each level to the next level, so you need to finish that level first. You cannot jump between levels. And then at each level, you have different options. Okay, it's not just one option. There are different options that you need to think and decide based on your situation which one is the best one for you. And I'll give you some detailed information later. So probably for many of you, you can point yourself or pin yourself on this image. So if you have high school diploma, you are level 2, ready to go to level 3. If you have a college degree from your country, you are in level 3, ready to go to level 4 and university. If you finish university in your country, you are level 6, ready to go to level 7. And if you finish level 7 in your country, you have a master degree from Ukraine, then you are good to go to level 8. But that's not the only thing, because all of us, we come from countries where English is not the first language. So you need also to understand what is your current level of language. And again, the image is there to show you different type of language systems that we have here in the UK, and universities, they accept some of them. So most of you are already familiar with IELTS, and you know that applying for undergraduate degrees, most of the time, universities, they want you to have IELTS around 6. Some universities 5.5, some universities may ask 6.5, but most of the times they ask for 6. But again, it's important to know IELTS is not the only option. For undergraduate, if you plan to apply for postgraduate, IELTS and TOEFL are the only options that universities in the UK accept. But for those of you thinking of undergraduate courses, IELTS is not the only option. What universities want you to show is you can pass this bar. So other qualifications above this bar are accepted by many universities. So I've worked with many students in the past from a refugee or asylum seeking background who went to university studying undergraduate using their functional skills level 2 or ESOL level 2. That's because ESOL level 2 is above the bar that universities want. So again, it's important to understand where you are in this table, and then knowing that you don't have just one option for university undergraduate. You can think about which of these options are kind of less time taking, more convenient, easier for you to take. Sometimes having a functional skill level 2 and going to university with that could be slightly more easier than applying for IELTS exam. So this is the second point. And these two together are the first 2 points that you need to understand about yourself, where you are in those levels and where you are in terms of the language level at the moment. There is a third element that you need to take into account, specifically if you plan to go to university, and that's about finance. Universities here in the UK, they are not free of charge, and you should pay tuition fees. However, like many homeless students, they don't pay from their own pockets. They get a student loan from Student Finance England, and then they can repay the money later when they started working, and they can pay from their own income and salary. For you to understand what is your current financial situation, that table is very helpful, because as you can see, the rules are slightly different in England compared to Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland. So for refugees, if you have refugee status, it doesn't matter where you live. From the day that you have refugee status, you are entitled to a student finance. So you don't have a financial issue if you decide to go to university. You can have the finance in most cases. There are some exceptions that I can explain later. But in most cases, when you have your offer from university and you have refugee status, as you can see, the green ticks here, you can apply for student finance. Unfortunately, it's not the same when it comes to people still waiting for their asylum claim. So again, for asylum seekers, in all the regions, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Scotland, they are not entitled to student finance. The situation is slightly different between countries when it comes to humanitarian protection and other kind of visas or immigration status that some people may have. For instance, if you have discretionary leave to remain in Wales and Northern Ireland, you can apply after 3 years. But with the same visa in Scotland, you can apply from day one. So for refugee and asylum seeker, it is similar everywhere. If you have a different visa, LLR or DLR, that could be different from country to country within this region. So again, these 3 things: current education, current language, and current immigration status and financial situation. These are the 3 things that you need to know when deciding on where you are at the moment. So with that, you can understand where you are at the starting point of your journey, your previous qualifications, previous experience and work, level of language, and immigration and financial situation. There is or there are some other personal situation that you need to take into account, specifically including family considerations. Because if you are a single person, or if you don't have any children, you have more flexibility, more options, more mobility compared to someone else with family commitments and childcare responsibilities. Or if you are asylum seeker living in London in home office accommodation, you may not be free to move to other areas of the UK to study in, for instance, in Manchester or in Liverpool. So these are the points that you need to take into account when thinking about your starting point. Then we need to decide where you want to go. And because we are thinking about education, you need to decide what you would like to study and where you would like to study and the level that you would like to study. Some of you already have some backgrounds in particular topics, in particular subjects, and you would like to continue. But some of you may decide to start from the beginning. So someone studied computer science in their own country, but here they would like to study nursing or social care because they see more job opportunities in those areas. So these are the things that you need to decide for yourself, and you need to collect information and do your own homework and do your own research. But the best place to find out more about what you need to have in order to get there is by going to university web pages. So every university, they have their own country-specific information. Okay, so here I have examples from Bristol, Liverpool, Manchester, and Leeds, just screenshots. But if you are interested in any other university, you can just Google the name of the university and add country-specific information. Then go to the university, choose your own country, because as you can see here, there are lists of different countries. Go to the country of your origin, and then try to find out for yourself what are the requirements for that particular country, because that could be different from country to country. That could be different also from university to university. So that's the best source of information when you would like to know what you need to have to get to the university or the course that you are interested in. Then you need to check the entry requirements, because again, the entry requirement for each course could be different from university to university. Most of the time, the general rule is the higher you go in the rank of the universities are more strict. So for instance, University of Manchester, they go for IELTS 6.5, they just accept A levels, for instance. But if you go down the list, you go to universities like in Manchester, we have Manchester Metropolitan and Salford, they ask for IELTS 6 or sometimes IELTS 5.5, and they accept other qualifications as well, like BTECs or some other alternatives. So I recommend everyone to check for yourself. So I have 3 examples here from Manchester, from Birmingham, and from Bristol. And if you check against other universities, like University of Bristol Nursing, entry requirements could be different from another university in Bristol, University of West of England, for instance. And it very much depends on the rank of the university. There is a very good website called Complete University Guide. So if you don't want to spend time going from university to university and searching on Google, you can use Complete University Guide, and then you have all the information in one place. So just search for the based on city, just search based on university, or just search based on the program, and you will get information from Complete University Guide. So with that, now we know where you want to go. So you know the entry requirements. For instance, you know that I have a high school diploma from Afghanistan, but the entry requirement for a degree in University of Bristol is higher than my high school diploma. So I need a level 3 to fill the gap. My language level is level 1. I need to study more to do level 2 ESOL, or I need to sit my IELTS exam, and you know about the fee and duration of the course. So now we know where you are at the moment. We know where you want to be in the next year or the next 2 years to start your education. So most of the times, what you will see is like this. So the road is not as nice and clean and smooth as this shows, but most of the time there is a gap. And that gap is mainly about your qualification and language. So here, knowing these two, then you can plan and other people can help you in order to fill that gap and bridge over that gap. So this is your level of English, your level entry 3, your entry 2, your entry 1. You need to get to level 2. You have level 2 qualification, you need a level 3 to apply for university. So knowing these two makes everything much easier and makes planning possible. So most of the time, as I said, it's about your language. So you need to do some kind of preparation, you need to do some courses in order to apply for that particular language certificate, being IELTS or level 2 ESOL or functional skills. And there are different ways of topping up that. So some of you may already been involved in college courses, and that's one option that you have. You can apply for college in your local town or city and go and do ESOL or functional skills. There are many non-college courses, including like courses by community centers and charities in different cities and towns up and down the country. There are many online language preparation courses as well. And there are some opportunities for practicing your language. The point is, and my advice is, none of them are enough on their own. You always need to think about a combination, because the more you add and the more you practice and the more hours you practice English, the sooner you get to the point that you want. So 1 day college or 2 days college, it may take you a year or 2 or 3. But if you can add something and practice your English every day, then it's more likely for you to get to the stage that you need to get in 6 months or a year. So spend time and invest in improving your language and add as many different ways of learning as you can. The second, a very good, again, I think when you get the recording, I'm happy to share the slides with you as well, if possible. So when you get the recording, there are 2 very good sources that I would suggest everyone to check. The STAR, Student Action for Refugee page on pre-university courses, and they always have a list of English language programs that you can join depending on where you are and your level of language. And the other one is Refugee Education UK page on, again, language and IELTS. And as you can see, they have a long list of universities and courses for English preparation that some of you may be able to join, again, depending on where you live and depending on your level of language. So again, make sure that you check these support available and see which one is a suitable support for you. When it comes to financial support, as I said, refugees, most of the time you don't have issue because you have access to student finance. If you are asylum seeker still waiting for your claim to be processed, you have access to a scholarship. So if you remember, in the beginning, I showed you like last year, 400 and something asylum seekers, they went to university. All of them, they were able to do so by using Sanctuary scholarships. And these are scholarships that many universities, up to, I think at the moment we have about 50 universities in the UK, every year, they give a number of scholarships to people from asylum seeking and refugee background. If that's something that you need and you are interested in, again, you can find all the information and all the opportunities available on a STAR webpage on their scholarship tab. So you can see university scholarships as well as other scholarships if you're in need of financial support for access to university. So we know how to bridge and fill the gap for language, how to fill the gap for finance. The main thing most of the time is about a gap in your qualifications. So some of you may have level 1 but not 2. Some have level 2 but not 3. So you need to think about what is the best option to fill that gap as well. As you can see, we have 3 main pathways: academic, vocational, and applied. And there are several options in each of them for you if you want to fill that gap. I start with academic and then give you some examples of vocational. So imagine you have level 2. You don't have level 2. You couldn't finish high school in your country. You had to flee or leave your country before finishing high school. So in that case, you can go to college and do your level and you do your GCSEs. However, many students, specifically from refugee background, they prefer to do functional skills instead because it's less time taking and not as difficult as GCSEs. Okay, so again, something to think about. Do you want to spend more time and have your GCSEs, or would you like to spend less time and going to university more quickly? If you stay in GCSEs, you learn more fundamentally, you learn more in depth, but then it takes you more time. But sometimes people decide, no, I spend less time on functional skills, but then I can go and learn in the university. So jumping from level 1 to level 3, the main options are these two. But if you have level 2 and you need level 3 to go to university and to apply, you have 3 main options. A-levels, which is the normal way of doing that here for UK-born students. All of them, they go to college after finishing high school. But again, most of the students from refugee and asylum-seeking background going to university, they do that through access to higher education. It's a college course, and it takes less time, like compared to A-levels that sometimes take 2 years. It takes 1 year. You go do access to higher education. There are different type of access courses. You need to choose an access course which is relevant to what you would like to study in university. So for instance, if you would like to study nursing in university, you need to do access to nursing. Or if you want to study business in university, access to business and management. So that's important. You need to choose access course which is relevant to what you would like to study in university. So that's the main option. And if you think about doing a level 3, my first recommendation is access. You can have it in all the colleges or most of the colleges in the areas that you live. And it's not as difficult as A-levels and not as time-taking as A-levels. And then the third option is sometimes the students decide if they are in a slightly better situation and close to university. Universities, they have some courses with foundation year, which means instead of 3 years, undergraduate courses in the UK are 3 years, but there are courses with foundation year, which means you can go to university for 4 years. First year, which is year 0, is similar to access, but instead of college, it's in university. So first year, year 0, is about preparation, and then you start your year 1 from, in fact, from year 2. So again, the main 3 options to think about when it comes to moving from level 2 to applying for university. The other one is this one, the vocational. And if you, again, they are the same level 2 and level 3. So if you think about not doing these courses, and if you are not sure about do you want to go to university or not, yet these are better options because BTECs, NVQs, and apprenticeship, they train you for a job. And also you go to college and learn some theory as well. So when you finish, you have 2 options. You can use those degrees to go to university. So you can use your BTEC to go to university, and many universities, they apply BTEC level 3 to apply for university. But then if you don't want, you are ready to start a job. Okay, that's a benefit of these vocational courses. If you are not yet sure that you would like to go to university or or continuing with the academic journey. So BTEC's option 1 NVQs and apprenticeship are available as well. So if you are interested about any of them, because we don't have that much time, you can just go and search for yourself and find more information. So now, with that, hopefully, you can bridge that gap, bridging your language, bridging your qualifications, and bridging the finance. So for bridging the finance, a student finance or a scholarship, bridging the language, you have different options, and bridging the qualification, level 2, GCSEs or better functional skills, and level 3 A levels or no better access to. However, before I finish, I would like to share some advice with you, and this is based on the experiences. I can easily say I've worked with quite close to 1,000. Like this morning, I had a teaching with a group of like 100 students from refugee background. So based on that, I would suggest start as soon as you can, but start small. Don't try to do everything in 1 week or 1 month. Okay, start soon, but start small. Start with language, start with finding information, start with searching. The second one is, it's difficult thing to do most of the time if you do it lonely. Okay, it's difficult and more time taking. Try to find help and support. And as I'll show you in the next slide, there are many organizations ready to support you. But first of all, you need to do some kind of search, some kind of information gathering for yourself so that they can help you with what your plans are. And then connect with other people. So connect with other people in the same situation, and they can help you, you can help them, and the journey would be much easier, less tiring when you are a group and a team, not one person on their own. So, and always I suggest 3 Ps to my students and learners that I worked with. First, difficult to get where you want without having a plan. Where you are, where you want to be, and what does it take, what you need to do. It's time taking, unfortunately, like anything else. Learning a language is time taking, learning new subjects are time taking. So be patient, you'll get there, I'm sure. I've worked with many people, they can't believe now where they were 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. You need to be patient, and you need to have perseverance. You need to do it every day. Small, but every day, because again, language learning, you cannot make any progress if you do it 2 days a week. You need to practice every day, reading something, speaking with someone, listening to something in English. Small, just 1 hour, half an hour, but the main point is do something small every single day. These are the main sources of support. So specifically a STAR, RAUK, and Breaking Barriers, they have a very good websites where you can find almost every information that you need. So just go and search STAR, RAUK, and Breaking Barrier for more information. Something that I would encourage everyone to do as well is about, as you've noticed, there are many information, there are many support, there are many places that you can find something useful. It's difficult to find out where they are, and it's difficult to be updated with the information. The best way of getting to know the latest about everything is by joining mailing lists. I personally am a member of many mailing lists, including these 3, and every week I get the latest. Instead of me spending time to search, it's them emailing me with the latest information, latest opportunities, latest scholarships, latest trainings, latest language learning for refugees and asylum seekers. So I would suggest everyone to join the STAR mailing list, Refugee Education UK mailing list, and Breaking Barriers mailing list. With these 3, it's very difficult to miss any opportunity education related when it comes to people from refugee and asylum seeking backgrounds. So again, one piece of very good advice, join these mailing lists not to miss any opportunity.